Good evening, everyone. Today we are here to discuss on the current issue that is global refugee crisis. So first of all, I would like to talk about what is refugee. So refugees are people who has fled from their country due to persecution. According to UNHCR, the people who are unwilling or unable to go back in their country due to persecution and the fear of persecution on the basis of it can be race, religion, nationality, or membership of any particular group or political opinion.
Why people flee from their country? Because of war like activities and also economic hardship activities. There is a much differences between the refugee and migrants. There is no clear definition of this. Refugees are those people who don't want to go at their places just because they had been taken out, they had been persecuted from their country just because they are not belonging to, they doesn't belong to the same ethnicity, same religion, or same some of the races. The second thing is migrant. Migrant is internal, external, both. And migrant is not particular refugee. Migrant is the people who are going in the search of any kind of work or some of the economical facilities or financial assistance. They are going to the other country or to the internal different states in a country. Because of some discriminated inequality of in any country. Because of that, people also flee from their country.
Because migrant is a different definition for the economic rights, but that's why India was not signing the UN Convention 1951 because they think it is not good for their future because of the economic rights. All yes.
Yes, and in 1950, for the refugees, for the protection of refugees, UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, was established. And after 1 year, in 1951, there was a International Refugee Convention. According to that, everyone has a right to seek asylum.
India does not have any particular law for refugees. When we talk about at international level, there are particular many of the incidents when the people from a country, just because of having a war-like situation, civil wars, or not a political stability, they have fled from their nation to the neighboring nation. That's the same current scenario we can see in Israel and Palestine, also in Russia and Ukraine, where
Yeah.
there are many people who had fled to the neighboring countries from those places.
Yeah, ma'am. If you talk about civil war, then in Syria, in 2011, civil war started. And still, that is going on in 2023. And people who have been like 50% of population of Syria has been displaced or become refugee in other countries. And the number is more than 6.5 million. And maximum refugees are going in neighboring countries like Turkey, Jordan, Lebanon, and these countries.
Now I want to talk about what happened after they reach on the other country's border. They have to first apply the application for the asylum, and if they got the application passed, then they get the asylum for because not everyone got the asylum. So after not everyone got asylum, some people are disappeared from there by illegally and got human trafficking, stuck in human trafficking, and also they have no protection framework for their life.
So it is like if we want to save the refugees, so we have to give them donation, charity, and give them that shelters to live. And in another way that we can also meet them that their relatives. So because of that, and we have also give them visa for that they can again went in their countries.
Yeah,
When
sir.
we talk about a fact which shows that 95% people going from a country are developing and less developed countries. Like refugees are the origin of refugees are from developing and developed not less developed countries, and also where they are getting shelter. These countries approximately 76% shelters provided to those old refugees are also provided by developing and less developed countries. This data shock us just because we see both the countries which is involved in providing refugees and providing shelter to the refugees are developed and less developed countries. There is no much more inclusion of developed countries which is financially more stable at the world level.
And the
Like
Ma'am, for
refugees face
example,
many problems like healthcare, education, food related, and some refugees like facing there some problem like cancer, health problems, but they don't have enough money to to treat that themselves.
yeah.
And but we have to motivate and support them for that treatment, food, and many other things that they can live their life easily in other countries
Like,
also.
I would like to continue, ma'am, your point that many people are going in developing or less developed countries. For example, people from Afghanistan, because of the Taliban takeover, are coming in Pakistan. Pakistan is a country who doesn't have food to even provide its own citizens. How they will provide to refugees?
India does not have any particular law for refugees, but here is in India there is an act which name is Refugees and Asylum Act Bill 2009, and also there is a Act Foreigner Act 1946. They both are supporting to refugees which are living in India. And in our constitution there is also an article. According to Article 21, if any refugee come in India, and we can't force him to leave our country, because according to Article 21 he can take shelter in our country.
I
like
would like to continue her point. It is like there is two article in our constitution, which is Article 14 and Article 21, which is not only provided to the citizen of India but also to the non-citizen of India. Article 14 provides equality, right to equality, and Article 21 provides right to life and liberty. Both these articles are provided to refugees too. By that they are able to live a stable life in India. As she said, there is not particular act, or you can say rules and regulation about refugees in India. Just because we doesn't wanted to be involved in these kind of things, still we are the Asia's largest and global, at the global level we are at 25th position, where we are providing shelter and asylum to our neighboring states refugees.
yes, as you said, I want to say about after like in 2015, lots of refugees are coming in the through Mediterranean Sea to the European countries. So at that border, the all countries are going debate which country accept them or which country doesn't accept them, because all our country are not able to provide them resources, because they also have lots of resources. Then they made a system of distribution key. In distribution key, every country have a set of number of which country accept the particular number of asylum. They make a parameter like the one who have the, it's according to the employment unemployment rate, the population rate, and asylum number of asylum, and the economic strength of the country.
Yes,
And
sir.
if you
In
talk,
Jammu and Kashmir, their people forced to people to leave the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and
I would like to continue her topic. It is like there are some of the incidents where we are not only facing the external refugee, like the people not only going to the different countries, but people are forced by their own land to leave their land. Just like as the example of, we can see Kashmiri Pandits, they were less in their population, as Muslims were more in their population in Kashmir area. They were forced to leave their state just because they were not belong to the same ethnicity, same race, or same caste which the people in majority were belong to.
Yes, I want to add some point about the Rohingya exodus, which is happening in the Myanmar in 2022. So, Rohingya exodus, lots of Myanmar people are coming here, and India is facing struggle to coming into the India. So, but on that system, I want to say about they are India calling the illegal migrant because of the Foreign Act and the Passport Act. But we cannot say this. India is not accepting migrants every time. Like partition refugees, we accept them. And 2009, the Sri Lankan Civil War refugees, we accept them. And 1971, Bangladeshi war suffering people, we also accept them. And now the latest, the Myanmar people accept them.
yeah, if you talk about the maximum, like the host countries which are providing maximum asylum to the refugees, those are Turkey, Pakistan, Lebanon, Jordan, and these kind of countries. And if you talk about the outcomes of refugees are going in other countries, like as we can all can imagine that without education, nothing is there. Like every education is the most important part of our life. But if you talk about data, then 80 to 90% people who are refugees in other countries are not getting education. So what will you imagine that? What will you expect from them? What they will do in their life without education? They can't do anything.
So
There are
the
two.
refugees like not going to other countries on that time. Just before many years ago, like on the partition of India and Pakistan at the 1947, like some like refugees also went to another countries. Like from that 40 million refugees are went From that, 1 million refugees are killed because of the violence. So that on that time also the refugees going, and on that on 8%, the Pakistan they capture our refugees. They don't send them to go their choice country.
In
Yeah, in
India,
Algeria, in the Algeria, they like in since 2014, the mostly refugees arriving from the Nigeria, and their people like in Algeria, their people forced to the people to walk in the to walk on foot by the small town of Algeria, and after that, approximately 30,000 people have died in the state of Algeria.
There are a lot of refugees in the world. With if we are talking about the global crisis of refugees, multiple civil wars and things had happened. But the thing is, which we need to discuss is why the other countries are not accepting them. There may be two reasons. One is which I want to describe about refugees. There are two type of refugees. One which can become an asset to a country where they are going, and one there they can be liability to the country. As he explained that there are many of the refugees who are not educated. As when we started, we talk about most of the refugees are from developing and no less developed countries. So the education priority for those countries is not much more. So refugees going from those countries are not educated, so they are becoming liability to the different country where they are going. And the people who are coming from European era, just like Ukraine people, they are educated, and where they will go, they will become asset for those. Just like we can see the Jews example, which was exodus, the exodus of Jews from Germany. There was a person called Einstein, also was a Jew and was a refugee, but went to USA and was a great scientist. So these are some of the refugees. So refugees should be some of there should be refugees criteria which countries will accept that who are educated.
Yeah,
Yes,
for
I want to
example,
say
Germany
about
has
some
a
less or the
aging
curse about
population,
the.
and those are not skilled that much, and those are not able to do that much hard work also. So Germany is every time welcoming refugees and giving shelter to them, and also using them as a asset, as you told.
Yes,
in
yes,
India, we
like
are.
you said, sir. I want to say about the every country's say, refugees became a blessed and curse of both. Like in Germany, you said the Germany's population are sinking and became aging. So the new assets are helping coming there and doing boosting the economy also. And like a country like India, where we can also afraid of the newcomers like from Pakistan. If a sleeper cell come with the whole refugee system, then we can have a very big loss in a time.
In India, we are treating with our refugees in two manners. If any refugee directly registered with government, so like Sri Lankan refugees, they can directly register with Indian government. Okay, with them they can take all welfare schemes of India which are here. They can take every benefit of as an Indian, and with the welfare scheme they can voluntarily contribute in economical development of India. And the second one is who registered with UNCR. UNHCR. The second type of refugees are who directly registered with the UNHCR. They can't take benefit of welfare schemes in India, and they don't have any kind of documentation from Indian government which is issued by Indian government.
Yeah, with refugees, like many child refugees are also came our country. So like if we provide them education, so like in future they can help or they can development. They can use that efforts in development of our country. They are useful for our us.
There are multiple refugees who are not just becoming because not getting a proper shelter, they are going in the human trafficking, as you mentioned, and because of that they are becoming terrorists too. So this refuses, if you are not giving particular shelter to those and particular assistance and education to those, it is not only dangerous for us today, but it will be also dangerous for us when we are looking to the further situation in future generation.
Yes, yes, as you mentioned that I also point that 40% of the population of the refugee are the child, and by these type of things we can imagine the severity of the refugees. So I want to say the challenges of the refugees. We cannot imagine their suffering. How get the chance into the other country? They also get discrimination all over the life, and that's why they have to choose the low wages things. So their children got a very secure future. And the third thing is also I want to add that they also sometimes like I also the human trafficking and the identification process is also taken sometimes decades. Like I also read somewhere the people from the France he stuck on the border for the 10 years. So this is the severity of the crime.
It is like a prison for multiple people.
And they are also not getting good facilities like internet, electricity. We can't even imagine our life without those things. And they also don't have good shelter. They have to live in a tents. So if we talk about the solutions of those refugee crises, then we must have to take care of two virtues. And those virtues are first is mercy and second one is justice. We must have mercy on the people who are coming from other countries as a refugee. And we must also take care of justice for the host countries population.
If we want to conclude this, then we would like to go for the solution. What are the solution? If you are talk, there are multiple cases of the refugees in multiple nations. So what are the solution? First, I would like to go for the UNHCR, which was established in 1950, just because so that it can work for the human right. It can provide human rights to the refugees and basic infrastructure which is essential for a human being can be provided by it.
If I talk about world statistics of 2022, about that people who displaced from their country, there are 100 million people into 2022 displaced from their country, and in that 32.5 million are refugees because of some problems in their country, and to get safety and other things that they flee from their country. So if I talk about that, here millions of people in every year are fleeing from their country.
Yes, as you said, I also mentioned that till today, almost 108 million people are forcibly displaced from their own country. And I also add the what we can do for the refugees. The first we can do about we can help the other countries like Syria to stop the war, so that the more refugees are don't go outside from their own country. And also the host country who's helping the refugees, we can help them by economically by the UN nations and with the help of UN nation. And that the third thing, we can also aware the local people, like we should help them because temporary we can temporarily give them food while they're getting stuck in the registration process and identification thing. And fourth thing, we can also do the India is also should involve in should make a rules and regulation for the refugees like Rohingya Exodus. We don't have a particular framework for them. So according to the SARC, because we are not related to the United Nations European Union, so we have to go with the SARC and make a legal framework for them and this kind of thing.
How we can
We
help
can also
refugees?
provide them temporary asylum, and after the peace in their homeland, in their home country, we can send back in their own country.
How we can help refugees by providing them food and shelter, and also hygienic places to live, and providing them some employment, because they are fleeing from the country and they don't have any kind of employment. If they don't have money, then how they can survive? For that, we have to provide them some kind of employment and all these things.
As we have discussed, most of the people who are giving shelter to them, those are developing and less developed countries. So there is an international fund for the refugees which has been providing fund to all those people who are host countries for the refugees, and it will not only help to the refugees to get settled there, but also all those countries who are welcoming all those refugees. The UN will give them funds so that they can make them establish and rehabilitation, or also they can take care of those refugees at their homeland too.
Yes, ma'am. As you said, like we should provide fund. No, I want to say about one who hosting the refugees camp country. The United Nations involved in a third country resettlement countries. That is the tag for them. And I want to say in the ending that some social reformers are also doing in that thing. Like in France, some group called NGO is Singa. Singa NGOs make a website of I welcome. By this, every refugee can register there, and by for the time of 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, they can help them to engaging with the new house and public sectors for their career also.
Yeah, and we can also help refugees financially, like going on the website of UNHCR, and we can also donate some money for the refugees.
So, at this level, we would like to conclude it in the way refugees are homeless. We should give them shelter. There are a lot of ways we can give them. That is, the people who are not educated, provide them education and welcome them at their home and say, thank you.
And that's why we are able to recall them on the 20th June, like Refugee Day, for recalling them or giving honor to refugees.
And we should follow the India's G20 theme, that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It means whole world is our family, and we should treat them as our family members, as our brothers and sisters.
Yes.